Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is actually a good example. You can see that there's a doorway over on the right with the red lights in front of it. That's what we call a challenge tomb. So the puzzle that's inside of that is harder than the puzzles that we'd have in the normal gameplay space. And it's also very challenging to get into that. The only way that you can get through that door is to run across these spike traps and actually activate them all at once. So you really have to work with your co-op partner on this one and kind of designate, you run here, I'll run there, or otherwise you end up kind of crossing in front of your buddy's path and then he ends up stepping on your spikes.
But if you lose all your health, you respawn next to your partner, as long as he's still alive.
So one of the big things for this game is we wanted to do things that were a little bit more active and a little less static thinking, which means experimentation, and often experimentation means death, as we've just seen right there.
No.
So if both players die, it'll go and you actually respawn. You can see they respawned right exactly where they were before, so it's not a huge penalty. But as long as one player's alive, you can just spawn right back into the game.
So as an example, they didn't want to go into the challenge tomb, so there was an easy solve, 2 of the plates, and off they go, keep playing. But obviously it'll make you want to come back and do it again.
Looks like they have a pretty wide arsenal of weapons.
Yeah, we have, one of the big focuses for this game is to constantly be rewarding players in meaningful ways for the achievements that they're doing, right? It's not just a checkbox. You get something for everything that you do in the game. And one of the things that we give away for a lot of the challenges are these weapons. So there's over 20 unique weapons in our game.
And the weapons power up differently depending on which artifacts and relics that you collect. There's a bit of a very light RPG feel to it, where before you start a boss fight, for example, you can go in and re-equip yourself. You can choose some of the artifacts and relics that you've collected to help some of your power defense, and then obviously it makes your weapon stronger as well. We also have the power-up bar across the bottom, so not only will you have the power of some of the relics and artifacts, but if you manage to play through for a period of time without being hit, score some points, your power-up bar goes on, which just basically turns insane mode. Which is really fun, exciting thing to play in co-op. It brings like a true arcade feel to the game. So this example, you're down to the last weight. So the bridge is now fully extended, so the 2 players now have to try and get across this bridge. Obviously it's going to be a trap, they always are. Never play these games without a trap.
Never trust a door with a giant spinning grinder over the top of it.
That's probably pretty good advice.
Always a bad idea.
Exactly.
Oh no!
Oh, Lara decides to jump off.
So this next...
Here she respawns right there.
This next moment will show some of the surprises that we have in the game. We like to do a lot of twists and turns that you don't expect as you play your way through the level. So it's just like constantly giving the players something new. So you can see this surprise is a giant killer spider.
So we have several big boss fights throughout the entire game. Obviously we have different levels of characters to come across. That was kind of a stage 2, stage 3. So when you clear this level now, you meet your first boss in the game, which is kind of probably the first quarter of the game. We have several big moments. We have adrenaline moments built into the entire game as well, which you played before. We have this dynamic bridge, which brings some fun and excitement. And it looks like the guys decided they want to run the wrong way.
What would you say the mix between action and puzzle solving is?
Well, one of the goals on the game was to really try to hit a really even mix between exploration, platforming, and puzzles and combat. So like hitting those all across the board, you're constantly doing something new every time you're playing. We didn't want it to be combat heavy, we didn't want it to be a puzzle game, we really wanted it to be that true action adventure, even split across all those things.
And each level has different balances. So an example here is that this is a very vertical level, so there's not as much exploration. So it's kind of combat heavier, there's some puzzles. Whereas when you go into the second chapter in the game, it's more exploration focused, exploration and combat. So we've balanced them differently. We've also got sort of 3 different types of levels. We have your sprawler space, which is our exploration. We have your vertical space here. And we also have your linear space, which we showed you recently with the Chompy. Kind of brings a little bit more of the fast-paced adventure into the gameplay. They're quick, bite-sized chunks, but they're fun, and they got loads of replayability on them.
And they just made it into a challenge tomb here, right?
They did just make it into a challenge tomb.
So in this example, you've just been taught how these plates work with the spikes coming up. So again, you got to work together to be able to unlock this artifact. So now you've got this artifact, it goes into your arsenal, you can now go in, you can start to re-equip, depending on what boss you're coming up against next.
And another thing about that puzzle, which is something we try to do on a lot of our puzzles, is there's a lot of different ways to solve that puzzle.
I see.
And what we really want to do is give the players really cool tools that have a lot of utility, and put a challenge in front of them and let them, the 2 players on the couch, the 2 players online, decide how they want to solve it.
So here's another mini puzzle which we have. Again, this these little challenge available comes up on the left there. Jump over the sticks 12 times and you manage to unlock another artifact. Collect some of the skulls, again, as a mini challenge. And then ultimately you can just blow them up. Oh. If you don't like the game, to get the skulls, you can just blow them all up and you'll miss one of the achievements. So we give the player loads of objectives inside the level. It really isn't just a jump in and start. There's on average between sort of 6 to 8 different things to do inside the level, so it kind of keeps people really entertained, and they got a real classic arcade feel to it. No, they're not doing too well here.
They're having trouble with this one.
No, here we go. No, died again. I think they should just blow it up. Alright, it's a pretty tough one.
But having a lot of these hidden things inside the levels is one of the ways that we really let the co-op players kind of determine how the game's going to play out for them. We really let them make those decisions.
Well, the game is looking really great, and it was announced this week that's going to be a part of Summer of Arcade on Xbox.
Really excited that we're
that.
one of the 5 key titles in Summer of Arcade. So we're
that also
forward.
means we'll get to play it very soon.
Very soon, yeah. I can't tell you the date just yet because we're working with Microsoft on that, but watch this space.
Excellent.
We're excited.
Thanks for bringing Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light by, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Back to you, Jess.
Oh, Lara, I can never get enough of your gigantic guns. And speaking of giant guns, up next we have a game that needs no introduction, Call of Duty Black Ops. Also, stay tuned for information on our next giveaway. See you guys later.